Minasan konnichiwa und willkommen. And today is another review. But this time, we're going to be taking a look at Yoshi Enoki's 1992 to 1993 animated classic, Thumbelina, a magical story, known in Japan as Oyeyubi Hime Monogatari, which roughly translates as Thumbelina story. But I only want to focus on the English dubbed version. It starts out with a mother going to a kind old witch who lives on the edge of town, and she is not able to control her adorable little daughter Maya. So the witch gave her a book, which of course is the story of Thumbelina, or Oyeyubi Hime if you live in Japan, or Domlinchin if you live in Germany, or Pulgarcita if you live in Spain or Latin America. And then later at home, we see the mother cooking something, and then our adorable little protagonist enters the scene. And Maya brought home something that her mom would not approve, and that's a slimy old frog. And did I forget to mention that the mom is voiced by Mona Marshall? That's right, the same fucking woman who had voiced Noble, the little sugar plum fairy, later in the film. And then the mother brought home a surprise for Maya, which of course is a very special book called Thumbelina.
Well, I decided that I don't like books. But what's Thumbelina about anyway?
Oh, it's an adventure story for children. It's a very exciting book.
Oh?
And then we actually see the mom actually read the story to our adorable little protagonist. And then for some odd reason, she falls asleep. And then Maya becomes curious at the book herself. And of course, she did in fact read a bit of the book. But then for some odd reason, she shrunk into the size of the character herself. And that character is obviously Thumbelina. And then Maya tried desperately to wake her mother up, but of course it was of no use. And then the frog showed up just a few seconds later, and of course kidnapped the little girl. But then they accidentally dropped her into the ground. And so by these uncanny circumstances, Maya found herself sleeping on a flower blossom exactly like Thumbelina. She slept for a very long time, while her body tried to adjust to be all of a sudden the size of a honeybee. Without her knowing it, she was now not only smaller, but another world entirely. Maya was deep into the land of dreams, a place that would easily let her turn to her home. And of course, Maya then gets chased by a giant rat, who seems to be one of Master Splinter's cousins. You know about Master Splinter from the original Ninja Turtles, but that's for a different video. And then Maya encounters Angela for the first time, who I believe is the same woman who voiced both the mother and Noble, the little sugar fairy. Yes, I'm talking about veteran voice actress Mona Marshall, who I consider to be the June Foray of English dubbed anime. And of course, Angela gives Maya a new pair of red shoes, because she lost her old ones. And let me tell you, those shoes are probably the most adorable pair of footwear I've ever seen in my goddamn life. And when she saw the shoes for the first time, she lifted her dress up to see those red shoes. And let me tell you, it was just so freaking cute. And so adorable. And just so nostalgic for me. because that shot right there was worth the price of admission alone. So after all that funny business, the good witch Angela basically tells Maya that she's now stranded in her mother's dreams, that in order to return to normal, she must journey to the land of South and rendezvous with the Crystal Prince. Once Maya's on her way, she runs into the Sugar Fairy Noble, who I swear with that blue-white skin, that star on his forehead, looks like the equivalent of a Swedish child porn star, who in actuality kind of looks like Lisa Simpson from, well, what else? The Simpsons. But it's not Yardley Smith voicing her. It's actually Mona Marshall, knowing that his seiyuu is Fushiki Yamada. And Maya and Noble had a little argument, which results in Maya being tricked to believing that was actually her mother waiting, calling her, when in reality it was actually the evil witch Cassandra. And then Maya and Noble were still traveling in the land of dreams until they've encountered the frogs again. George, Gladys, and their son Hoppy, voiced by Barbara Goodson, by the way.
That was right, you really are cute. Yeah.
And then, fast forward a few minutes later, we see probably one of the most adorable scenes in the history of anime. And it's the Pixie song sequence. When you're a pixie, every day sunny. We sing, we play, we bake every day, as sweet as a strawberry pie. You can whack us, attack us, make us sit on a cactus. And then Maya made the retarded decision to jump on the lily pad, which of course ends up getting abducted by those frogs. George and Gladys have never even considered giving up on the idea of making Maya the bride of their young son Hoppy. They took her back to their home beside the Rainbow Pond and held her there against her will. How terrified she must have been to wake up and find herself a house guest of frogs.
What am I doing here? You're here to be Hoppy's wife, so just get used to it.
And then the frogs locked Maya up in a hibernation room. And she wanted desperately to get out, which of course was no use. And then we transitioned to Hoppy and the Frog Witch talk about magic strawberries. Because if our little girl ate one strawberry, she would have the heart of a frog, even though her outward appearance will not have changed in the least. He would notice the difference. But if she ate 2 strawberries, she'd become a frog. Well, she'd actually have a face of a frog. But if she ate all 3 strawberries, then I'm sure she would be much as a frog as he was. Then she'll be a perfect wife for you. So make sure she eats all 3 strawberries. All right? And then Hoppy tried everything to force Maya to eat those strawberries, which of course was no use. And then Maya, for some reason, ended up feeding one of the strawberries to the grasshopper. Those strawberries look good.
If you're hungry, have some.
Thank you, Willie. Yum, yum, yum. And then for some reason, the grasshopper becomes a frog. Ribbit, 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 ribbit.
The strawberries.
I'm sure she must have eaten the strawberries by now. And then fast forward a few minutes later, we actually see Maya and Hoppy try and get the strawberries. But then Maya pushed Hoppy into the water. I know it was kind of mean, but I just couldn't resist her adorable face. Believe me, dude, I've seen this anime classic before. And of course, Maya and Hoppy came across a snake while that classic song was being played. It's a snake, it's a snake, it's real, not a fake.